Hello BookTube. Today for Tag Thursday, I'm going to be doing the Clue Game tag. This tag was created by the Bookish Knitter and the Bookish Bryants, and I will leave links to both of their original videos down below. I had originally planned on doing this tag on Tuesday for Tag Tuesday, but this tag has been kicking my butt. But I think I finally figured out some pretty good answers for the prompts. Now, for those of you who don't know, the clue of the title of this tag refers to the board game Clue, in which a number of players have to solve a mystery of who killed this character. Each character are given certain, or each player is given certain clues, and they eventually have to guess who, where, and with what committed the murder, and that sort of thing. So you have to guess the solution after a number of rounds. It's been forever since I played the game, so but I remember it quite fondly. So let's get started on the prompts. Prompt number 1, Mr. Green. A book that takes place in the UK. For this prompt, I'm going with, let me go get my notebook. The Lesser Bohemians by Eimear McBride. The novel takes place in London at a drama school, in which the narrator is a student who eventually enters into a relationship with an older actor, with, I think, self-destructive results for both of them. Prompt number 2, Colonel Mustard, a book featuring a character in the military. For this prompt, I went with, I'm going to go with Fullmetal Alchemist by Hiromu Arakawa. Fullmetal Alchemist is one of the most popular, or was one of the most popular Japanese manga to come out in the 2000s. It features Edward Elric as the Fullmetal Alchemist. So in this world, alchemy is a practical magic. And Edward and his brother Alphonse are looking for a philosopher's stone to restore their mangled bodies. Well, to restore Alphonse's body in toto, because basically Alphonse is just a spirit inhabiting a suit of armor, and Edward is a multiple amputee. He's missing an arm and a leg. And it's a fantastic series, and the thing is that Edward Elric is actually a member of the military. He is a state alchemist, and therefore a member of the military, although that status is very rarely brought up, except for when he's bossed around by Colonel Mustang, who's his superior officer, and the military plays a role both as aides to the Elric brothers and also as antagonists to the Elric brothers. Prompt number 3, Miss Peacock, a book that you feel is patriotic. For this, I'm going with The Legend of the Condor Heroes by Yong. So I've talked about The Legend of the Condor Heroes quite a bit over the past few months, but The Legend of the Condor Heroes is about a group of martial artists trying to defend the remnants of the Song Empire from the encroaching Jin Empire, who have, over the course of a century or more, conquered the northern half of the Song Empire. And of course, lurking in the background are the Mongols. It's the story of the son of Song Patriot, Guojing, and his sworn brother, Yang, who's also the biological son of a Song Patriot, although the adopted son of a Prince of the Jinn, and so it's sort of very patriotic, in that a lot of the protagonists are Song Patriots, and the antagonists are generally more supportive of the Jinn. Prompt number 4, Mrs. White. A book where a main character is part of the household staff. For this prompt, there was only one answer. The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins, in which Gabriel Betteridge is the butler, and he is also one of the most prominent narrators in the novel. Prompt number 5, Library. A book about books. I'm going to step away from fiction for this prompt, and I'm going to pick a work of literary theory, Metahistory by Hayden White, in which he looks at 4 historians and 4 philosophers and their work, and sort of develops a theory that would eventually play a key role in New Historicism. I read this well over 10 years ago, so I don't remember much, but I do remember really liking it at the time. Prompt number 6, Kitchen. A book that is a culinary mystery. So there's been a trend, I don't know exactly how old it is, to name, to give title to mystery novels something culinary. And I don't have any of those books. In fact, I only have, besides a pretty good Agatha Christie collection in Omnibus, I only have 2 other mystery novels, The Moonstone and Lady Audley's Secret. So, yeah. So I don't have anything that would really sort of exactly fit the prompt. But I'm going to go with a novel by Agatha Christie, and that is A Pocket Full of Rye, in which the murder is committed at breakfast, and the murder weapon is marmalade. Hope I didn't spoil it for you. Prompt number 7, Conservatory. A book or cover. I'm not entirely sure if it's like a book about plants, flowers, or trees, or a book cover featuring plants, flowers, or trees, because there's like a slash between book and cover. So I'm not entirely sure. But I'm going to go with it as book cover. And for this, I'm going to go with the cover of The Queen in Hiding by Sarah Koslov, in which a crown is wreathed in leaves, like viney leaves. Prompt number 8, Hall. A book that takes place in a mansion. This prompt has given me some trouble. But I think I've figured out a good answer. I mean, again, a lot of mysteries take place in mansions or equivalent. So for this prompt, I'm going with Priest of Lies by Peter Mclean. So Priest of Lies is a sequel to Priest of Bones. And they're both about Thomas Piety, who is a gangster who was conscripted in a war and eventually became a priest for a war goddess. And he eventually comes back and reestablishes himself in the criminal underworld. In the second novel, he's more successful. He's moved into a mansion, and well, I don't. It's been a while since I've read the book, but I think the mansion actually becomes his sort of main base to a degree. I think he still uses the hotel from the first book, but he has this mansion. He's much more successful, and in fact, a lot of his training further training for certain reasons is done at another mansion in the capital. So I thought that would be a good match. Another option I had was the Scarlet Citadel by by Robert E. Howard. Robert E. Howard, oh. Okay. The Scarlet Citadel by Robert E. Howard, in which Conan, he's king of Aquilonia, and he has been tricked by a believed ally and given over to the kings of two enemy nations. And he is imprisoned in the Scarlet Citadel, which is this palace overlooking the capital of Koth, inhabited by the wizard behind the Kothian throne. And under the Scarlet Citadel is this wizard's labyrinth of horrors. So one of those two. Number 9, Candlestick. A book that takes place or was published prior to 1802. This prompt gave me some trouble as well, but I decided to go with the Iliad by Homer. This work is about 2,000 years earlier than 1802, give or take. So, yeah, I thought that would really work. Well over 2,000 years. So, I thought that would work. It's about a period of time during the Trojan War, and really needs not a whole lot of introduction. Prompt number 10, Gun. A book featuring a police officer. For this one, I am going to go with another detective novel. I know I've only used like 2 for this entire tag, but I'm going to go with one. I had an idea for one answer from a book I currently have and I read last year, but I didn't think it really worked. And so I was thinking back that while I don't have a whole lot of mystery novels in my collection now, I used to have quite a bit. Although for me, my great period of reading mysteries was my early to mid-teen years. Basically from the age of 12 to 16, 17. And I had quite a few mysteries. And one of the ones I quite liked was A Certain Justice. Yes. A Certain Justice by P.D. James. It is the only Adam Dalgliesh novel I've ever read. And I quite enjoyed it. It's about a barrister who's murdered, and Dalgliesh looking to figure out who did it. And it ends wonderfully. I absolutely loved the ending. I think that's the only Dalgliesh I've read, and I think I've only actually read 2 by P.D. James. I think the other one's An Unsuitable Job for a Woman. I know I've read that one. I don't think I've ever read the sequel. Excuse me, but I did quite like A Certain Justice. Prompt number 11, Wrench. A book with a skilled trade worker. This one gave me conniptions. This one was trouble. And I'm not entirely sure my answer quite works, but I'm going to go with it anyway because I can't really think of any other trade workmen in any of my other books. I mean, most of my books are wizards throwing fireballs at each other or something similar. Although I guess you could argue certain kinds of wizards would be skilled tradespeople, depending upon the type of magic magic use, magic tech and stuff. But I'm going to go with Perdido Street Station, in which skilled workmen play a not insignificant role in the conclusion, or pretty much resolving the main conflict. But I'm not going to go too much into it because that would definitely be spoilers. But it was pretty interesting. Also in that book there's a butcher who doubles as a newspaper editor. That I thought was quite cool. But I mean, I love Perdido Street Station and the other of the 3 Boss Log novels by China Medieval, which one of these days I really need to talk about. And finally, prompt number 12, Dagger. A book where a ritual murder takes place. I have 2 answers for this prompt because this prompt also gave me trouble. So my first answer has the murders, although I don't exactly remember how ritualistic they were or are. And that would be The House of Binding Thorns by Elliot de Bodard. This is the second in her Dominion of Fallen series, which takes place in an alternate Paris, dominated by houses, like aristocratic houses dominated by fallen angels. And the house of the title is House Hawthorne, which played an antagonistic role in the first novel, House of Shattered Wings, but in this one, more of a protagonal role, in which several of the members of the house are confronted with the series of murders of Hawthorne dependents. And I think those murders are committed in a rather ritualistic way, which is aimed at weakening the house. Hoping for not too much spoilers there. The second option I have is more attempted murder, because I know the murders are intended to be ritualistic, but they weren't committed. And that is The Gutter Prayer by Gareth Hanrahan. In this novel, the main character, Carolyn Thay, is the product of some terrible magics that, if the ritualistic murder is committed, would bring a bit of an apocalypse to the city of Guerdon. I'm not going to go too much further into that because that would be spoilers. And I'm trying not to spoil things, even though I do highly recommend reading both House of Binding Thorns and The Gutter Prayer. So anyway, BookTube, that was the clue game tag, and definitely enjoyed it. So I will see you tomorrow with weekly reads. Well, weekly read. I mean, there's really only one book I can talk about. But I will see you tomorrow for weekly reads. And until then, thank you, BookTube. Have a great afternoon. Stay safe. And if you would like to do this tag, definitely do it. It was a lot of fun, even if it did kick my butt for the better part of a week. So, anyway, BookTube, see you tomorrow.